The chill of the Beverly Hills night was deceptive, its stillness masking the undercurrents of lives colliding in unexpected ways. Among the opulent mansions and manicured lawns, Octavia Spencer sat stranded in her aging car, its engine lifeless, its exterior a glaring contrast to the polished luxury surrounding her. She was a dreamer, a young actress fighting to carve her name in a city that often turned its back on the hopeful. A sudden growl of an approaching motorcycle pierced the quiet. The rider, clad in black leather and exuding an air of mystery, pulled to a stop. Removing his helmet, he revealed himself, Keanu Reeves, a name and face Octavia instantly recognized but could hardly believe. His calm demeanor and unassuming kindness stood in stark contrast to the larger-than-life persona she had imagined. As Keanu worked on her car, Octavia couldn't help but notice the quiet determination in his movements, the way he seemed untouched by the vanity of the world around them. When the engine roared back to life, he simply smiled, brushing off her effusive gratitude with a modest, "Glad I could help." That encounter lingered with Octavia, not just for its improbability but for the profound lesson it carried. In a city obsessed with appearances, it was a reminder that true character often revealed itself in the smallest, most unexpected gestures. The world of the story is set in Beverly Hills, a city of contrasts where glamour and quiet affluence coexist. The tree-lined streets are dotted with opulent mansions, their manicured lawns glowing under the soft light of street lamps. Yet, beneath the polished exterior, moments of vulnerability and humanity unfold, as seen on the chilly night when Octavia's car broke down. The air carries a faint scent of jasmine, blending with the hum of distant traffic, creating an atmosphere both serene and isolating. Octavia Spencer, a struggling actress in her mid-20s, moved to Los Angeles with dreams of stardom. Her worn-out car reflects her financial struggles, a stark contrast to the luxury surrounding her. Despite her setbacks, Octavia is determined, her optimism and tenacity shining through her nervous demeanor. That night, her frustration was palpable, but she remained composed, unwilling to let her circumstances define her. Keanu Reeves, known worldwide for his fame yet grounded in humility, becomes an unexpected ally. His black leather jacket and sunglasses give him an enigmatic aura, but his actions reveal a man of quiet kindness. He doesn't see himself as a celebrity in that moment, just someone helping a stranger in need. His calm confidence reassures Octavia, creating a fleeting yet impactful connection. This chance encounter plants a seed of inspiration in Octavia. Over the years, as her career blossoms, she carries with her the lesson Keanu unknowingly imparted, to remain humble and generous, no matter how far she rises. Their brief meeting becomes a cornerstone of her personal and professional ethos, shaping the woman she becomes. Years later, at a glitzy Hollywood gala, Octavia Spencer found herself face-to-face with Keanu Reeves once again. This time, she was no longer the struggling actress stranded on a dark Beverly Hills road, but a celebrated star. With a smile, she handed him a handwritten note, thanking him for inspiring her journey and revealing a secret. His kindness had saved her not just that night, but from giving up entirely. It was a cold night in Beverly Hills, and Octavia Spencer, still an aspiring actress, sat in her broken-down car, her dreams feeling as stalled as the engine. Her goal was clear, to land a role that would finally catapult her into Hollywood's spotlight. Yet, the obstacles were mounting: financial struggles, relentless auditions, and now, a car that refused to cooperate. When Keanu Reeves stopped to help, it was more than just a moment of kindness, it was a spark of hope. In the days that followed, Octavia found herself reflecting on Keanu's unexpected humility. Inspired, she decided to approach her career with renewed determination, vowing to embody the same grace and perseverance. Her first step was to take on smaller, challenging roles that showcased her range, even if they weren't glamorous. Along the way, she formed a deep friendship with her roommate, Clara, a struggling screenwriter. The two bonded over their shared dreams, their late-night brainstorming sessions often turning into heartfelt conversations about ambition and self-doubt. As Octavia's career slowly gained traction, Clara's scripts began catching the attention of producers. They decided to collaborate on a project that would highlight untold stories, blending Clara's writing with Octavia's growing talent. However, their partnership faced its first test when a powerful director offered Octavia a leading role on the condition that she abandon Clara's script. Torn between loyalty and opportunity, Octavia wrestled with the decision, the memory of Keanu'S unselfish act guiding her. The tension between ambition and integrity deepened Octavia's understanding of herself and her relationships. Her journey was no longer just about personal success, it became about lifting others as she climbed. Together, Octavia and Clara weathered rejection and setbacks, their bond strengthening with each challenge. Little did they know, their persistence would soon lead to a breakthrough that would change both their lives forever. It was a cold night in Beverly Hills, with stars glittering in the sky like scattered jewels. Octavia Spencer, still an aspiring actress, sat in her stalled car, frustration mounting. Her audition that afternoon had gone poorly, and now this, her car breaking down in the middle of the upscale neighborhood. She glanced at her phone, no signal. As the minutes dragged on, her anxiety deepened. Suddenly, a sleek motorcycle pulled up beside her. The rider, clad in black, removed his helmet, revealing a familiar face. "Need a hand?" Octavia hesitated, unsure if this was real. "Yes, please," she finally said. As he worked on her car, a black SUV slowed down nearby. Two men inside seemed to be watching them, their intentions unclear. Octavia's unease grew, but the motorcyclist remained calm, finishing the repair quickly. "You're good to go," he said. "Be careful tonight." "Thank you," she replied, shaken but grateful. "Wait, are you Keanu Reeves?" He smiled faintly but didn't confirm. As he drove off, the SUV followed him instead, leaving Octavia to wonder what danger she might have narrowly escaped. Octavia, now a rising star in Hollywood, found herself navigating a world far more complex than she imagined. The glamour she once dreamed of came with hidden challenges, ruthless competition, intrusive tabloids, and the pressure to maintain her image. One night, after a grueling audition, she received an anonymous invitation to an exclusive charity gala. The event promised networking opportunities with industry elites, but the sender's identity remained a mystery. At the gala, Octavia met a charismatic producer named Elena Vasquez, whose reputation for launching careers was matched only by whispers of her shady dealings. Elena took a keen interest in Octavia, offering her a role in a high-profile film. However, the opportunity came with strings attached. Octavia would have to distance herself from her longtime manager, David, who had been her unwavering support since her early days. Meanwhile, Octavia's memories of Keanu'S kindness lingered, shaping her decisions. She began volunteering at a local shelter, where she met a young aspiring filmmaker named Liam. His passion reminded her of her own struggles, and she quietly funded his first short film, hoping to pay forward the generosity she once received. As Octavia's career soared, so did the stakes. Paparazzi captured her leaving the shelter, sparking rumors of a secret scandal. Elena warned her to keep a low profile, but Octavia refused to abandon her principles. Torn between ambition and integrity, she faced a pivotal choice: accept Elena's deal or risk everything to stay true to herself. Unbeknownst to her, a shadow from her past emerged. A journalist investigating Elena's connections uncovered a startling link between the producer and Keanu Reeves, whose name appeared on confidential documents tied to the gala's funding. Octavia Spencer stood frozen in the lavish foyer of a Beverly Hills mansion, her Oscar clutched tightly in her hand. The charity gala was in full swing, but her focus was on the man across the room, Keanu Reeves. She hadn't seen him since that fateful night years ago. Her heart raced as memories flooded back, but before she could approach him, a sharp voice interrupted. "Octavia, darling, we need you for the auction," said Vivian Cross, a powerful producer with a reputation for ruthlessness. Octavia hesitated, torn between her obligations and the chance to thank Keanu. Vivian's icy glare left no room for argument, and Octavia reluctantly followed her. Meanwhile, Keanu, unaware of Octavia's presence, was engaged in a heated conversation with a mysterious man in a gray suit. The man's hushed tone and furtive glances suggested something more than a casual exchange. Octavia caught snippets as she passed: contract, leak, consequences. A sense of unease settled over her, but she pushed it aside, focusing on the auction. As the evening progressed, Octavia's unease grew. She noticed Keanu slipping out of the mansion, his expression grim. Unable to shake her curiosity, she followed him outside. In the dimly lit garden, she found him pacing, his hands clenched into fists. "Keanu?" He turned, startled, but his guarded expression softened when he recognized her. "Octavia," he said, his voice laced with tension. "It's..." Before she could press further, Vivian appeared, her face a mask of fury. "Octavia, what are you doing out here? You're jeopardizing everything." Caught between Vivian's demands and Keanu's unspoken plea for discretion, Octavia faced a dilemma. The stakes were higher than she'd anticipated, and the glamorous facade of Beverly Hills seemed to crack, revealing secrets she wasn't sure she was ready to uncover. Octavia sat in her dimly lit apartment, staring at the script in her hands. It was her first major audition, and the pressure was suffocating. Memories of that cold night in Beverly Hills came rushing back: Keanu's calm demeanor, his willingness to help without hesitation. She realized she wanted to embody that same grace under pressure. Taking a deep breath, she decided to face the audition with confidence. The audition room was intimidating, filled with seasoned actors and critical eyes. But Octavia's performance was raw and authentic, earning her the role that would launch her career. It was a turning point, not just professionally but personally, as she embraced resilience and self-belief. As her career flourished, Octavia made it a point to mentor struggling actors, remembering how one act of kindness had changed her life. She became a source of encouragement, offering advice and opportunities to those who needed a break. Her generosity, however, wasn't without challenges. Some took advantage of her kindness, leaving her questioning who she could trust. One evening, while attending an awards gala, Octavia spotted Keanu Reeves across the room. She approached him, heart pounding, and thanked him for that night years ago. Keanu smiled, his humility unchanged, and told her, "Sometimes, the smallest gestures can ripple into something greater." His words resonated deeply, reaffirming her commitment to paying it forward. The encounter reignited something in Octavia. She decided to establish a foundation to support aspiring actors from underprivileged backgrounds. It became her mission to create opportunities for others, ensuring no one felt as stranded as she once had. This decision marked a significant shift in her journey, setting the stage for a legacy beyond her acting career. The evening air was crisp as Octavia glanced at the invitation in her hand. It was for an exclusive charity gala in Beverly Hills, hosted by none other than Keanu Reeves. Her heart raced, not because of the glamour, but because this night felt pivotal. She had spent years quietly repaying his kindness through acts of generosity, yet she had never thanked him directly. Tonight, she would. Inside the grand venue, Octavia marveled at the opulence. Hollywood elites mingled, their laughter echoing through the gilded halls. She spotted Keanu across the room, engaged in conversation with a man whose sharp suit and colder demeanor stood in stark contrast to Keanu's warmth. Something about the man unsettled her. As the night progressed, Octavia overheard snippets of tense dialogue. The man, a producer with a reputation for exploiting young talent, was pressuring Keanu to endorse a questionable project. Keanu's calm but firm refusal sparked a quiet confrontation. Octavia's instincts told her this wasn't over. Later, she approached Keanu, her nerves barely contained. Before she could speak, he smiled knowingly. "Octavia Spencer, I've been following your career. Congratulations on everything you've achieved." Her gratitude poured out, but their conversation was cut short when the producer reappeared, his tone laced with veiled threats. Octavia, sensing an opportunity, stepped in. Her rising influence in the industry gave her leverage, and she subtly warned the producer that his actions wouldn't go unnoticed. The tension eased, but Octavia felt the undercurrents of something larger brewing. As she left the gala, she couldn't shake the feeling that her connection to Keanu was about to entangle her in a much deeper conflict. Octavia stood backstage at the Dolby Theater, clutching the edges of her gown. The night was monumental. Her directorial debut, a passion project years in the making, had earned her a nomination. Yet, the weight of expectation and self-doubt bore down on her. She thought of the countless hurdles she'd faced, the sacrifices, and the nights she questioned if she was enough. In the audience, Keanu Reeves sat discreetly, a quiet supporter. They had crossed paths again recently, and though he never sought recognition, his encouragement had been pivotal. "You've got this," he had told her, his words resonating like a mantra in her mind. As the evening unfolded, Octavia faced her final challenge, delivering a speech that would not only honor her win but also inspire others. Winning was never the ultimate goal, it was about proving to herself she was capable. The applause thundered as her name was called, yet her heart raced for reasons beyond joy. Taking the stage, she steadied herself. The crowd blurred, but Keanu's calm presence anchored her. "This is for everyone who's been stuck on the side of the road, unsure if help will come," she began, her voice trembling but resolute. Her words wove together the threads of her journey, kindness, resilience, and the unexpected moments that shape us. As she left the stage, she felt lighter, as though she'd finally closed a chapter and opened a new one. Keanu met her backstage, offering a simple nod. No words were needed. Years after that fateful night in Beverly Hills, Octavia Spencer found herself at the pinnacle of her career. She was backstage at a charity gala, moments away from delivering a speech about the importance of paying kindness forward. As she stepped onto the stage, her eyes caught a familiar face in the crowd, Keanu Reeves, seated quietly, his presence as unassuming as ever. Octavia's voice trembled as she began her speech, recounting the story of the stranger who had once stopped to help her. "That small act of kindness changed my life," she said, locking eyes with Keanu. "It reminded me of the power of generosity, and I've tried to live by that ever since." After the event, Octavia approached Keanu, now her peer in the industry, and thanked him again. Keanu smiled, his humility unchanged. "You didn't owe me anything," he replied. "But I'm glad it meant something to you." Inspired by their reunion, Octavia launched a foundation to support struggling artists, ensuring others could experience the same kindness that had shaped her journey. Her story became a testament to how even the smallest gestures could ripple into something greater. What act of kindness will you choose today? Years later, Octavia stood on the stage, clutching her Oscar, her voice steady but emotional. To those who believe kindness is small, I want to share a story, she began, recounting the night a stranger on a motorcycle stopped to help her. She never named Keanu, respecting his humility, but the lesson remained clear: compassion can change lives. After the ceremony, she quietly donated part of her earnings to organizations supporting struggling artists, inspired by the generosity she once received. Though her fame grew, Octavia remained grounded, always seeking to lift others as she had been lifted. Keanu, hearing of her success, smiled from afar, content. Sometimes, the smallest acts create ripples that last forever.